go over here. Get the people up in the room. Get the people up in the room. A lot of people come up in the room. Y'all know the rules. When you come up in the room, make sure you get your city up in the room. Make sure you get your city so we know where you coming in from. We know where everybody's coming in from. Make sure you guys put your city up in the room. We're gonna turn up. We're gonna turn up today. I know I haven't went live. I haven't went live in almost 2 weeks. What's going on? I haven't went live in a minute. What's good? What's good? What's good? Let me see. Yeah, people coming in, tuning in. Long Beach, California, Best Stop, Brooklyn in the house. They piling in the house, man. We got Bowie, Maryland in the house, Verona, Wisconsin, Philly in the house, New Orleans, Detroit. Let's pile up in the room because I gotta talk to you guys about something important today. It's real important, man, about some things that's going on. With the radical right conservatives that they're doing. I've really been just sitting in the back, just chilling, just putting up content every day. But I haven't been going live. We got New York City in the house, Dayton, Ohio in the house, Indianapolis in the house. Right, as you come in, put your cities in the room. And I haven't been going. I haven't been going live, but I've been seeing some stuff that's going on behind the scenes, man. There's a lot of things going on as foundational Black Americans we got to pay attention to. Now we know that there's a civil war going on between the radical right and the radical left, and there's bodies dropping, people getting hurt. It's not just like online banter where they going back and forth. People getting clapped out, right? People getting shot. There's all kinds of stuff going on the radical right and the radical left, and they all blaming each other, right? They blaming sides as to who are the culprits and who's wrong, right? And they all fighting for who's going to control Memphis in the house. They all fighting for who's going to control these Congress seats, Senate seats, like who's going to control the House, right? Where they can push their policies, right? They can get legislation pushed. They can push their policies. Missouri City in the house, Mo City, Texas. And we got, you got Donald Trump, he was appointing his Supreme Court justices, his federal judges, right? Hold on for a second. Now people get up in the room because I'm gonna do some reading today, and I want you guys to pay attention. Now, I want to ask everybody that's in here right now, that's watching right now, that's in the chat. I want to ask make sure you guys hit that like button so they can push us out to the algorithm, because I've been noticing they've been trying to really suppress my content. I've been seeing, like, when I was going live last month, 1,500, 1,600 people showing the room. But because I be sharing my screen and really reading the information and teaching, they've been scaling my stuff back. I'm not really just hooping and hollering and everything. They've been scaling it back. So y'all got to hit that like button, leave comments, everything. So that way we can make sure this content get out, because it's important. Remember I tell our people, Houston, Texas in the house, right? I tell our people, less emotional, no emotion, take the emotion out. Sit back, be quiet, pay attention, let them talk, listen to what they're saying and respond accordingly, right? So I want to know, with the people that's in the room right now, put a 1 in the chat if you heard of this person. Put a 2 in the chat if you haven't. Put a 2 in the chat if you haven't heard of it. So if you heard of this man, Edward Blum, if anybody heard of this man, Edward Blum, right now, put a 1. If you didn't hear of this man, Edward Blum, put a 2. I'll wait before I proceed. I want to hear what people say. Okay, we got a 1, we got a 2, we got some 1s, we got 2s. See, this is important. Y'all never heard of this man, Edward Blum, right? As foundational Black Americans, it is very imperative that we know who this man is. I gotta keep it all the way 100, right, to my people, because I love y'all. And we're gonna know who he is after the day. But I gotta say it this way, and it ain't no disrespect to our people. We not emotional. I gotta keep it above. But it's shameful and it's disrespectful to the lineage that we don't know who this man is. And what happens, family, I want y'all to listen to me. When we scream this foundational Black American and we going in on the Democrats and we going in on the Republicans and we don't understand what's going on. See, what happens is when you get people like Roland Martin and them that want to undermine us and act like we just some rogue ignorant people, we can't be proving them right. We have to understand the tactics that both parties are doing, right? Because we're center, dead center in the middle of it. And we got to understand, we have to understand what they're doing and who the major players are, right? So when you hear these Democrats upset about DEI being removed, right? Right. Here you go. Yeah, my brother said, hold on. Right. Here you go. Hold on. Somebody said, facts. He's very dangerous. Absolutely. He's very, very dangerous to our cause. But what he did, he just opened up a door for us and didn't even realize it. And we're gonna break that down today. Shout out to the real Dana and Judge Joe Brown as well. We're gonna break that down today as to what happened, right? Now, when you hear the Dems are upset because the Republicans came in and start cutting off funding to these NGOs and private nonprofits or organizations. They start cutting off the money, right? But he also, in these DEI programs, they cut off race-based initiatives. And they start cutting off funding for Black women through colleges. They start cutting off the Fearless Project. They start cutting off all of these different projects that will help Black businesses and Black people. And Edward Blum was one of the co-conspirators in this legislation, going to court and the Supreme Court, getting affirmative action, parts of affirmative action knocked down, right? And this is important because we're talking about reparations and we're talking about being repaired. So we need to know who all our enemies are. And we need to know one thing. When they're talking race-based initiatives, that's fair enough. Because as foundational Black Americans, I want you to understand something. We ain't dealing in race-based initiatives. We dealing in lineage. We're dealing in lineage, not race-based initiatives. Because when you get caught up in the Democratic POC, people of color, all-inclusive, race-based initiatives, you set yourself up for them to come in and wipe you out. But if we go by lineage, that we are a specific people, a specific group, right? As Black Americans, there's only one group, there's only one lineage of Black people on the planet. Nigerians are not Black people, they're Nigerians. Dominicans are not Black, they're Dominicans. Their nationality, their country, their culture. We are, hold on for a second. God darn it. We are a distinct group. Hold on. My baggage. We are a distinct group, right? And I want y'all to understand where I'm going. Because too many people come here and they've been benefiting off this POC, people of color, and identifying as Black when it's convenient for them. But when it's time for them to be themselves, they go back to being themselves, right? Now, here we go. Hold on. Let me get this. You know, you're right, and Black American. Now, see, if you can say that part, tell them that my father's a foundational Black American, right here from Philadelphia, born and raised by my father. Tell them that part too. If you're gonna be honest about it. So if you want to come in here and say that, now I want to see you put that in there. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Hold on. For people like you. Hold on. I want you to this man right here, my daddy, and his flag from being a 3-tour Vietnam veteran. I want you to post this stuff too. Hold on. I want you to post this too, right? So, like, a lot of y'all like to come in and troll and get your narratives. I want you to post. Yeah, my dad was a 3-tour Vietnam veteran, and when he passed away, they gave me this, right? I want you to make sure. I want to make sure you posting that as well. Right. So, I just wanted to, because you get a lot of trolls that come in, but I wanted to just to do away with that because they come in with a lot of bull crap, right? They come in, and you can say that part, that's fair, but say the whole thing. But a lot of people, you guys are not good people. See, you're not a good person, right? Because see, when you're a liar, you're not a good person, and you come and you have a narrative to display a person in a certain way, but don't tell the whole full truth. But let me get back on point, right? Let me get back on point to the people. Mm-hmm. Right? Let me get back. Let me get back on point. Now, the thing is, we have to understand who we are, right? Because other groups have been coming here and been able to cosplay, and the Democrats have been playing to that. And so now this is the thing. When you have a lot of black people that are upset with Donald Trump because they're coming in and they're getting rid of a lot of race-based initiatives, and they're getting rid of DEI programs, and they're slashing the budgets that were set up for these NGOs and all these different nonprofits. People are upset about it, right? But the reason why people are so upset because they don't have any recourse or plan of action to fight back. They don't know how to fight back. They don't know how to defend themselves against it because the Democratic Party never taught them. The Democratic Party never taught them how to defend themselves because most of these programs that were set in place by the Democrats, these programs was never set in place to actually uplift you or to build you up. Not the black community. Maybe immigrants can come and they can benefit from it, but these small business loans, you haven't seen it matriculate back into black Baltimore. It hasn't done anything in black Memphis. It hasn't done a lot in black Philadelphia. Right? These things hasn't matriculated back. So what we're seeing now is black people complaining about the Democrats bringing all these immigrants in and overrunning the community. Because the educated class, for so long, they didn't come together to build anything in Black DC. They didn't build anything of worth and salt in Black Philadelphia, Black Baltimore. Atlanta was a place that they had some commerce and some things going on. But in these East Coast corridor and Midwest cities where you have so many black people in these cities, they didn't build anything, right? So a lot of people are mad. A lot of people are mad at the Democrats, the Republicans. But I'm telling you, the Republicans owe us nothing. What you mad at the Republicans for? The majority of folk didn't vote for Republicans. The Republicans owe the black community squat tie. Nothing. The argument of vitriol should be towards the Democrats because the Democrats did a poor job in teaching the black community how to capitalize off of these programs. Now, when y'all saw me out there, hold on, I'm going to show y'all this. Real quick. Watch this. Hold on. Try to see this real fast. I want y'all to see this. Give illustration before I really share my screen and show what I want to show. George Macon in the spirit of Khalid Muhammad. Hold on. Let's see if it come up. God darn it. Hold on. I'll pull it up because I pulled it up before. I'll pull it up. But when you guys saw me 5 years ago during the riots and the shutdown, when I was out there with Antifa and all those nonprofit groups was out there, and they was out there getting their money, and y'all heard me cussing them out. Y'all, hold on. Let me see because I want y'all to see. I want to give illustration to what I'm saying. I want y'all to see what I'm talking about. Hold on, gee. Hold on. Not Khabib. Hold on. Oh, here we go. I got it. Hold on. Here we go. I want y'all to see this, right? I want y'all to see this. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. I want y'all to see this. Let's let this come in. Let me pull this up real quick. And then I'm going to unshare and reshare again because we're going to get into the show. But I want to give illustration for what I'm talking about. Now, let me share the screen. I'm going to show y'all what I was doing and what I was attempting to do and why I talk the way that I talk now. Because I was warning everybody back then. I was warning everybody back then. Hold on.
Hey, but black policy matters. They said black lives matter, but the black policy matters. Huh? The black policy matters. That's what I want to know. Is there going to be some policy for black people? Are we going to be coming to take the past? Yeah. Black lives matter what? Black policy matters. If black policy don't matter, then black lives ain't.
Hey, baby.
We gotta get policy pushed.
Listen to me.
Policy pushed. If policies don't get passed for black people, if we don't become a protected class like the Jews, if we don't become a protected class like the LGBT, what happened to us on this land. And we are not a protected class.
Now, this was 6 years ago, right? When you see all them W folks out there, right? All those W folks out there, this was during the time Antifa and all them groups was coming up here after the police, pows and the riots. I was up there warning our people about these NGOs and all these nonprofits. They came into the black community to get money. And I was telling them, y'all not my allies. Y'all not my friends. I know what you here for. I have a nonprofit, Urban Nerds. I know when we trying to get the money, the grassroots trying to get the money to go to our communities, it goes to them. They're sending them the money. They don't give a damn about the black community, right?
In the black lives, y'all might as well go home.
All facts.
It don't matter. It don't matter. If black policy don't matter, then black lives don't matter. We've been saying black lives matter since the time of Medgar Evers was killed.
So I just wanted to just show that part to give illustration to what I'm talking about today. And what I'm laying down, right? The corporations, these nonprofits and NGOs come in and get the money that's being allocated to the community. They've been making money off black blood. The Democrats know this. The Democrats was filling their pockets up. So when Trump came in and cut all that out. Now there's wars going on between the two because all Trump did was cut it all out and start allocating that money to his people on his side. So now the Democrats is mad because they need that money. Guess who's the victims in the middle? You and your communities. Because they had that money wide open for immigrants and everybody else that was being allocated. That's where they was getting these funds from to put these people in these buildings and to give them money. Trump came in and cut it and formed ICE to get them out of here while he take that money and put it in their pockets now. That's what they're mad about. They don't give a damn about you. So I'm saying all that to say this. Edward Blum comes with the race-based initiatives, and he wants to get rid of that. And we're saying, what we should be saying is, okay, fine, Edward, because we ain't dealing with race anyway. We dealing with lineage. We're foundational Black American. See, when the Jews got reparations and when the Japanese got reparations, they got reparations because they were dealing with lineage, not race. Lineage base. We're dealing with lineage base, but they got our people caught up in this race thing. And that's why I'm saying, I remember for years, we would argue with Dominicans and say that Dominicans are Black. No, Dominicans are not Black. They're Dominican. South Africans are not Black. They're South African. There's Xhosa. There's Zulu. That's who they are. We are foundational Black Americans. That's who we are. Everybody else have their own identity and their own culture, their own systems that's set up. We are a distinct group over here. The problem is when we would have these meetings with these Democrats, we would go in the room and everybody got a folder and they put it on the table. They put our folder at the bottom. And they put everybody else's folder and everybody else's initiative at the top because Black dysfunction is worth too much money to be trying to clear up and fix. It's $1 trillion industry, and everybody's making money off of Black blood being spilled in the street, Black ignorance, from bodies being falling in the streets to the education systems. right? To you complaining about racism. Black American dysfunction is profitable. And all of these nonprofits and NGOs and all these systems, right? They all making money based off of setting up systems and programs to help your black ass. That's why they're mad. So now when you're starting to wake up and say, hey, I don't want you to speak for me no more. I don't want you to have programs to help me no more. I want to help myself. You become a problem. And that's why the Roland Martins and them hate you so much, because you messing up the money. Because they like to mix it and twist it. They like to play the game. They like to twist it. They're saying, hey, while these Republicans are being racist and rolling back our history and rolling back this, you guys are sitting with your hands, sitting on your hands and talking, trying, not doing nothing. But no, we're not. We know the history. We can see what them racist Republicans are doing. We know what they're doing. But we're dealing in lineage. See, that money that was supposed to be for those black women and the Fearless Project that they cut, that should have been for FBA Americans, lineage based, not race. Not race. When you set it up for race, you open up the door for them to come cut it. So now we waiting for 10 more people to come in the room. Once we get 300 people in the room, we're going to share the screen and we're going to take off. The jet's going to take off, right? And the thing is, are people not dumb? We're very well educated. We fully understand what they're doing. But as long as they keep it in a war between black and white, and whenever the white don't do something that the black agree with, it just becomes racism. And then the black got to go and cry and march and scream with no plan of action. No. Forget the black and white. It's lineage. Yo, we foundational black Americans. That wasn't for just all black people. That was for those, that set right there of black people. They're not black people. They're immigrants. That's whatever he is from somewhere else. He's Indian. He's Bangladesh. He's a POC. You have POC and then black Americans. That's POC. We're not POC. We're not POC. But they use black Americans as the catalyst to get the money. So we had 302. Let's share the screen and go to work. Let's get to work.
Those fires, they appear to have died down somewhat. A local organization investing in black women-owned businesses, but now live at 5, they are accused of discrimination.
Well, the Fearless Fund is being sued by a group with ties to a conservative activist, arguing it violates federal law. Atlanta News First, Yasmina Alston. She's live at 5 in Midtown Atlanta. And Yasmina, could this lawsuit impact some black businesses?
Yeah, Tracy, well, depending on the outcome of the lawsuit, it could be devastating for black women-owned businesses.
What the heck?
But that's why leaders of Fearless Fund say they are not backing down.
Our message is clear. Our corporate partners stand by us. MasterCard, Bank of America, Ally Bank, JP Morgan Chase, and many others.
Surprised, but putting up a fight. Fearless Fund CEO Arian Simone speaking out Thursday.
Yo, why does it keep spinning
Like against a racial discrimination lawsuit targeting the Atlanta-based venture capital firm that invests in businesses led by women of color. The American Alliance for Equal Rights.
Hold on, man. Hold on for a second. I don't know what the hell's going on. Hold on a second. This damn Wi-Fi acting janky for some reason. I don't know why. Everything just checked out. Man, hold on for a second. It's even checking out over here. Yeah. All right, come on back. What's going on? Hold on a second. All right, hold on. Let me move over here.
Claims a Fearless Fund program violates the Civil Rights Act of 1866 because they have members who are being excluded from a grant program specifically
Wow, what the
for black women business owners. In response, Simone says their work for Black women is vital.
We've been in touch with all of our investors. They stand by their DEI programs. They stand
You got to be effing kidding me.
by their commitments that they've made post George Floyd to the Black community. They are in agreement with the work that they have done and the work they are doing with us.
Statistics show Black female-owned businesses are growing, but are
So it must be just this video because it's. Hold on, I'm gonna go to. Let me move over.
underfunded. Fearless Funds ensures they succeed, investing in Black female-owned businesses like Atlanta-based Slutty Vegan.
Is the continued attack on diversity, the attempt to gut affirmative action.
Georgia NAACP President Attorney Gerald Griggs was shocked about the lawsuit and says depending on the outcome, it could be devastating.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna go from this video because this video acting janky. Let's go over here. I don't know what's going on.
Lawsuit against the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, accusing it of racial
Man, I might have to.
discrimination. The American Alliance for Equal Rights claims scholarships awarded to African American students by the CBC are illegal. The suit says two members of its group who applied for scholarships were rejected because they are not Black.
So y'all hit that
The
like
same group that filed a suit against the Hispanic Scholarship Fund for the same reason.
I'm gonna go back because I want y'all to pay attention,
An
right?
action group has filed a lawsuit.
Now I'm gonna go back. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to see what they're doing. Now, this is Edward Blum. He filed a class action lawsuit against the Congressional Black Caucus, right? Because he was saying that they was getting these race-based initiative funding for Black students, but white students was being excluded. And he's putting that in. Now, there's a reason why these race-based initiatives were set in place, but we want to get into that, right? But let's look at it, right? Let's listen.
An anti-affirmative action group has filed a lawsuit against the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, accusing it of racial discrimination. The American Alliance for Equal Rights
Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on.
claims scholarships awarded to African American students by the CBC are illegal. The suit says two members of its group who applied for scholarships were rejected because they are not Black. This is the same group that filed a suit against the
Yeah, hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on. I gotta go out and come back.
Hispanic Scholarship
Give me a
Fund.
second. Give me a second, y'all. Don't nobody go nowhere. Don't nobody go nowhere. I gotta fix this. I gotta go out and come back in. All right. Can y'all hear me? Make sure y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Can everybody hear me? I don't know why this thing is acting crazy. Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Okay, good. Y'all can hear me. All right, let's reshare. Let's try to get back. This thing wasn't acting crazy at all day, man. As soon as I go live, now all of a sudden we got stuff spinning and whining and spinning. Let's start over, man. Let's start from the top.
An anti-affirmative action group has filed a lawsuit against the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, accusing it of racial discrimination. The American Alliance for Equal Rights claims scholarships awarded to African American students by the CBC are illegal. The suit says two members of its group who applied for scholarships were rejected because they are not Black. This is the same group that filed a suit against the Hispanic Scholarship Fund for the same reason.
This comes as no surprise. And
yeah, I gotta see what this. I don't know. I don't understand what's happening now. I've been preparing for this show all day. None of this was going on. But I don't have this problem. I don't even know. God damn, man, this is insane. Yeah, they messing with the stuff, man. They messing with the bandwidth.
A lot of those challenges failed. because the justices or the courts recognize historical discrimination amongst those groups. They are finding ways and legal justification in order to find these cases more successful now than ever before.
The CBC Foundation awards more than 300 scholarships a year. One category is in response to federal cuts in spending for education programs and scholarships that disproportionately affect people of color.
Now, I want you to listen to what she said. Is disproportionately affect people of color, right? Disproportionately affects people of color. And they also still talking about black people. We got to get it where they're talking about the lineage, foundational black Americans, because it's set up to be attacked. They can come and attack it. This thing that threw me off because the way I want to explain this and break it down and keep for some reason, I prepared this show. I sat here and prepared this show for a couple of hours. Nothing was spinning until it was showtime. Come on, man. Nothing. This is insane, man. Let me go back. Let me go back and see if we can get this to play again without any spin. Yeah, this is crazy.
They appear to have died down.
Oh, nah, man. I'm about to end the show, man.
Investing in black women-owned businesses, but now live at 5, they are accused of discrimination.
Well, the Fearless Fund is being sued by a group with ties to a conservative activist, arguing it violates federal law. Atlanta News First, Yasmina Alston. She's live at 5 in Midtown Atlanta. And Yasmina, could this lawsuit impact some black businesses?
Yeah, Tracy, well, depending on the outcome of the lawsuit, it could be devastating for black women-owned businesses, but that's why leaders of Fearless Fund say they are not backing down.
Our message is clear. Our corporate partners stand by us. MasterCard, Bank of America, Ally Bank, JP Chase, and many others.
Surprise, but putting up a fight. Fearless Fund CEO Arian Simone speaking out Thursday against a racial discrimination lawsuit targeting the Atlanta-based venture capital firm that invests in businesses led by women of color. The American Alliance for Equal Rights claims a Fearless Fund program violates the Civil Rights Act of 1866 because they have members who are being excluded from a grant program specifically for black women business owners.
Let me go off of this real quick. Let me go here. Now, I want you guys to see something, right? I want you guys to see something. Now, remember when I always tell y'all about the 2030 agenda, right? I want y'all to see this, right? Because this thing that pissed me off. I want y'all to see this, right? The 2030 agenda for sustainable development adopted by all UN members and states is a critical legal binding framework aiming to achieve gender equality, empowering all women and girls and realize their human rights. It acts as a comprehensive blueprint to end discrimination, violence, and harmful practices while promoting economic empowerment, right? So these programs, a lot of these programs are set in place for women to empower themselves to catch up with men in the workforce, right? But then you have this man here, Edward Blum, right? Edward Blum and his people, they're coming full circle, right? Because he's coming where they have a new lawsuit targets Congressional Black Caucus Foundation scholarships for black students, right? And an anti-affirmative action group is accusing the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation of discrimination, revealing an alarming trend, right? For years, the Congressional Black Caucus CBC has worked to support and uplift black communities across this country. Now, the anti-affirmative action group is accusing the organization of discrimination for the CBC's college scholarships, which support black students who face disadvantages from attending underfunded schools in majority of black districts. The lawsuit filed by the American Alliance of Equal Rights claims that awarding educational opportunities to some young constituents, but not others, based on the color of their skin is neither contentious nor legal. In the lawsuit filed on Thursday, right? Racial discrimination is wrong no matter which group it favors or harms, right? Or harms. A scholarship program that tells students that they are ineligible because of race and the race of their representatives violates one of our nation's oldest, oh my God, civil rights laws, said Edward Blum, president of AAER, in a press release. AAER's lawsuits particularly raises issues with the foundation's CBC spouse education scholarships. Now, I want to go over here because I want to read how effective he's been, right? How effective he's been. Edward Blum, a conservative activist known for leading lawsuits against affirmative action and race-based initiatives, has targeted initiatives associated with the Congressional Black Caucus related to entities as part of a broader legal campaign against race-conscious program, right? Key details. Target programs. Blum organization, including the American Alliance of Equal Rights, have initiated lawsuits challenging grants for programs and initiatives designed specifically for Black individuals in business, right? Focus on the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. Reports indicate that the federal lawsuit was brought against a scholarship program of a Congressional Black Caucus CBC. Legal basis. The lawsuit generally alleges that such programs discriminate against non-Black individuals, violating Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act 1866, which prohibits race discrimination in private contracting. This actions follow similar high-profile lawsuits by Blum against the Fearless Fund, a venture capital firm supporting Black women entrepreneurs. Y'all just saw that I read the 2030 agenda on what they're trying to do, right? So he went after this and got this taken down, right? This action follows similar high-profile lawsuits Blum against the Fearless Fund, a venture capital firm supporting Black women entrepreneurs, which was forced to end its grant program following a court ruling in 2024. Context of Blum's activism. Edward Blum is not a lawyer, but he's the driving force behind numerous lawsuits aimed at dismantling race-based laws and policies. Students for Fair Admissions, the landmark Supreme Court case that severely limited affirmative action and college admissions. Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard UNC 2023. Voting Rights Act challenges. He was key in Shelby County versus Holder 2013, which struck down parts of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Corporate board diversity. He has challenged initiatives aimed at increasing racial gender diversity on corporate boards. Now, let me come back here. What happens is Roland Polley and them is upset because they feel like because we're going after the Democrats that we're not paying attention to none of this, as if we don't see none of this. We see it. We're trying to get everything pushed into lineage base. That should come to us. The thing with Roland and them is Roland is being disingenuous because Roland knows that we're talking race-based and we're trying to bring things back to the lineage, but they want to follow the POC because the money is being funded by the Democratic agenda for people of color and all-inclusive. And we're saying, no, we need it for us, right? Let's go over, right? So let's go over as a reminder, right? Hold on. Let's keep reading. The Congressional Black Caucus, CBCF, was established to address systemic inequalities and historical racism against the Black community, particularly in education and policy access. Founded in the 1970s, it aimed to provide opportunities in sectors where Black Americans were underrepresented, supporting educational opportunities and combating systematic racism. Now, this is when we make sure you guys stay here and pay attention. I don't expect the numbers to drop if I'm actually reading something that we supposed to be listening to, right? Foundational Black Americans, we should be going up in numbers because this shit is important. I'm not going to come on here and call Africans tethers today and do all that. We're going to get educated on what we need to be doing and who our enemies are. So sometimes boring is good because we need to understand the playbook, right? So key aspects to the CBCF's creation and purpose include mission. The CBCFs address long-standing disparities and systematic, historically rooted discrimination, focusing on education and leadership for Black individuals. Now, this is what it was created for and what it was rooted in. But we seen it. Nothing here goes to POC and people of color. But it's turned into POC and everybody else but the actual black individuals it was set up for. Establishment context. The CBCF grew out of the Congressional Black Caucus, which was established in 1971 to address the needs of black constituents following a history of reduced federal investment, right? So let's go over here, right? So now what happened, right? Let's go over here and see what he did, right? When you see these Democrats being upset. The Supreme Court struck down race-conscious college admissions in 2023, ruling that Harvard and UNC's policies violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. Now they're invoking the 14th Amendment, where that Equal Protection Clause is supposed to be for us because we were being discriminated. Remember, we were the ones being discriminated against. We were the ones being held out of things. We were the ones that was not given fair opportunities based off of race. What the Republicans is doing now is they're taking that same thing and using it to benefit them when these things were set in place because we wasn't getting the grant opportunities. We wasn't getting when A. Philip Randolph. Hold on a second. Matter of fact, I'll show you something tangible, something concrete. Hold on. There we go. Let's pull this up. Right, when civil rights leader A. Philip Randolph forced President Harry S. Truman to desegregate the armed forces in 1948 by threatening a massive civil disobedience campaign and urging Black Americans to refuse the draft. This organized pressure, alongside reports of violence against Black veterans, led to Executive Order 9981 on July 26, 1948, demanding equal treatment. Randolph co-chaired the Committee Against Jim Crow and Military Service and training to mobilize opposition to segregated military service, right? Now remember, A. Philip Randolph was a restrictionist. He was fighting on behalf of foundational Black Americans, right? He warned Truman that Black Americans would refuse to fight for a democracy that did not grant them equality. In 1947, he told Truman directly that the Black community would not support the government's draft efforts unless discrimination ended. He held protest rallies and hearings to gain public support for desegregation. Executive Order 9981 signed July 26, 1948. It declared equality of treatment and opportunity for all persons in the armed services without regard of race, color, or religion or national origin, right? So now I'm showing that because he was fighting on behalf of us to get things done because he was a restrictionist, right? Edward Blum is using that same thing now because he thinks that we're stupid. He thinks that we don't read. He thinks that we're not educated. He thinks that the young grassroots generation don't know their history. So he's using the very things, he's invoking the very things in court that was set up to protect us against us. The Democrats are screaming racism and not lineage based because their money and funding is coming in POC and people of color and all groups. They don't give a damn about the Black people. They're not A. Philip Randolph. They're not the Fannie Lou Hamers. They're not the people of the past that was fighting on behalf of our group. They done opened it up for everybody. And that's what puts us in this pickle. Right? Let's get back over here. Let's get back over here. Let's get back over here real quick. So, college admissions ruling on June 29, 2023, the U.S. Supreme Court decided in Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard UNC that colleges cannot use race as a factor in admissions, reversing decades of precedent. The Fearless Fund case, the American Alliance of Equal Rights sued the Fearless Fund, claiming its grants program for Black women violated 1981 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals found that the program race-exclusive nature was unlikely lawful, noting it created a categorical bar for non-Black applicants, right? These cases are part of a broader legal effort against diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI initiatives, arguing that any race-conscious program constitutes discrimination, right? Purpose for programs. Proponents argue these programs, like the Fearless Fund, are necessary to remedy historical underfunding and systemic inequalities. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because I'm going to break this down. Systemic inequalities for African Americans, particularly in venture capital, with less than 1% of funding went to businesses owned by women of color in 2018. Now, the courts have currently decided that despite historical context, race-based exclusions and contracts or omission are unconstitutional or illegal. Now listen, when you have Donald Trump coming in and he's forming ICE and he's trying to get rid of all of these illegal immigrants and migrants, right, out of the country, and you're doing things on race-based and not lineage. This thing is not secured through the courts, through foundational Black Americans' lineage. They wouldn't be able to touch it. But they can touch it because it's race-based, because it's under POC or people of all groups of color. So now they can come in and reverse it. They can come in and mess with it. But when you have it specifically for your lineage of people that happen, right, off of a crime, based off of a crime, they can't come in and touch it. So now the Democrats are screaming racism, but they're not telling you because they're not your friends. They're not here to tell you, well, you know what, we need to do it this way because this is the way the Japanese did it. The Japanese are a lineage of people, right? The Jews are a lineage of people. The Native Americans are a lineage of people. We can't go and just say that, hey, I'm a Choctaw, or hey, I'm a Comanche, or hey, I'm a Navajo. We would have to show proof. We would have to show paperwork, bloodline, everything. Anybody can just come into flat blackness. So what the Republicans is doing is repelling all of that. They're saying no, but in their racism, they've opened up the door for you to come down with your paperwork and say, we ain't them anyway. We're not people of color. They ain't got nothing to do with us. We foundational Black Americans, and this is our story. These things were set in for a group of people that happened here. There has to be a separation because they're going in and they're winning in the courtrooms because it's under POC. And they're calling it discriminatory, even though there's a historical reference of what happened to us and there's case law of what happened to us. A distinct, specific group. There's case law. So now you take that case law and you go under the lineage. Democrats they're not in the business of doing that. They're not here to do that, right? Hold on. They're not here to do that. So what we'll do, man, I hope this thing act right, man, and don't get janky on me, man. Hold on. Hold on a second. Where's my hold on, let me see if I can bring this up. Watch this. Oh man. I don't know what happened to my hold on. This whole thing's acting crazy. The real Dana. All right. Hold on. And she live right now too. All right, let me pull this up real fast. Here we go. So let's start. We're gonna start over. And I want y'all to pay attention, right? We're gonna go into Dana, and Dana's gonna break down this
moving forward today, a national champion.
Oh my God, what is going on? Yo,
when he started his profanity,
my computer is acting janky than a mug, man. Right now, I don't know why. This is insane, y'all. But I want y'all to pay attention to this. I want y'all to listen. This is important because she's going to break this down, right? So let's go over this, and then we're going to get into Roland Martin, and we're going to show y'all what Roland Martin said about us. We're going to get into what Roland Martin said about us. violence.
Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dana with the Data. Yes. Okay, so FYI, you do not see my face in this video because it is a hair off week. An off week for my hair. My hair is a mess. So you will see my, and get into that, has made a career out of using race-based in that chat room and start chatting away and share your thoughts. So let's get into it. Let me say something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. Edward Blum, the man who dismantled affirmative action at Harvard, the man has made a career out of using race-based programs, may have just handed foundational Black Americans the most powerful legal argument we've had in decades. And nobody is talking about it right now. Stay with me here, because at the end of this, you're going to understand why this lawsuit isn't the attack people think it is. It's actually an opening. First, let's establish who we're dealing with. Edward Blum runs an organization called the American Alliance for Equal Rights. His entire mission is to dismantle race-based programs in America. He's the architect behind the 2023 Supreme Court ruling that ended affirmative action in college admissions. He's been doing this for years, methodically, legally, and effectively. Now he's filed a lawsuit in a federal court in Washington, D.C. against the Congressional Black Caucus. The target, the CBC Spouses Education Scholarship, a program.
Now I want y'all to pay attention, because this man, he's been going to court and he's been winning cases. He's been winning these cases. So pay attention. And he was winning them before Trump got back in office. He was still winning them. He was getting judgments was being rendered his way. So pay attention and what he's doing.
That has awarded over $11 million exclusively to Black students since 1988. The scholarship ranges from $2,500 to $20,000 and serves 300 applicants per year. His argument, limiting the scholarship to Black students in districts represented by CBC members is racially discrimination and therefore unconstitutional. He's suing on behalf of two students, one Asian and one Hispanic, who are members of his organization. Now, here's where most people stop and say this is an attack on Black America. But I want you to slow down, because the real question isn't whether Blum is right or wrong morally. The real question is, what does this lawsuit force us to confront?
Listen, y'all.
Here's the uncomfortable truth. Race-based programs in America are on borrowed time. The Supreme Court already told us that in 2023. The legal framework that has protected.
The Supreme Court told us that in 2023 when they rendered that Fairness Fund unconstitutional. They told us that. They said that race-based initiative, we ain't rocking with that. Trump went, see what I'm saying? They already rendered this under Biden. So we got to pay attention. Let it keep going.
Affirmative action, race-conscious scholarships, and diversity initiatives and being dismantled brick by brick through the courts. And the CBC scholarship, as it is currently structured, is vulnerable. Why? Because it uses.
If my mind's in there, somebody get once again do whatever he is up out of here. Get that guy out of here. We actually got real people in here. We in here really building for real. We ain't got time for a bunch of jerks. Get that jerk out of here. Get that jerk out of here. We ain't got time for that. Let's get back. Anybody distracted today? Because we building today, and I'm not playing. Any trolls that come in trolling. Now people can leave their opinion, but if anybody's being disrespectful or trolling, block them. Just get them out of here. We ain't got time to be dealing with this.
Race as the primary eligibility criterion. In a post-2023 legal landscape, that is a losing argument in the federal court. So, if we're going to fight for resources, for scholarships, for reparative programs, we need a stronger legal foundation than race alone. And that foundation already exists. It's called lineage, specifically descendant from enslaved people in the United States of America. This is not a new concept. This is actually the most historically precise and legally defensive argument for targeted programs that Black Americans have ever had.
Let me say this. No, if you don't agree, there's no reason for you to be over here. We're not talking to you. And you can disagree, but if you say something disrespectful and you call people clowns or you're being disrespectful, I'm going to block you. You can have your opinion, but I don't need you in here distracting my chat while we teaching. If this ain't for you, go somewhere else to the places where we right now, we building, we educating our people on how to move. If you disagree, move on. That's all. I'm not saying nothing bad about y'all. I'm not calling nobody no tethers. We teaching foundational Black Americans how to move. If you disagree, man, the door is right there. Remember, the internet is free. You can be anywhere you want to be. You don't have to be here. Go and do something else. That's all we're saying. And we ain't even having tether talk right now. We build it. So if this ain't for you, just like skedaddle. That's all.
Because it doesn't say Black. It says descendant of American chattel slavery. And that distinction changes everything in a courtroom. Think about this carefully. When you argue race, you open the door to every person of African descent on the planet. Recent African immigrants, Caribbean immigrants, Afro-Latinos, anyone who checks the black box on a form. That's not a targeted remedy. That's a broad category that dilutes the specific harm done to a specific group of people. But when you argue lineage, when you say this program is for descendants of people who were enslaved on American soil, whose labor built this country's wealth, whose families were denied land, education, voting rights, and generational wealth through specific, documented, and government-sanctioned policies. Now you have a particularized harm with a particularized remedy. This is the legal language that holds up in court. That is the argument that has precedent because the United States government has paid reparations before to Japanese Americans interned during the World War II, to Native American tribes. In both cases, the payments were tied to documented lineage and documented harm.
So she's showing how the payments is tied to documented lineage, documented harm. And this is the thing, we already have all that. The W-man, no, we have federal laws that's on the books that's there to protect us because of our documented lineage. We got what happened to Ocoee, Florida. We got what happened in Wilmington, North Carolina, right? We got what happened in the Devil's Punch Bowl, the Elaine Massacre. I go on and on and on. We have the Black Codes. We have over 5,000 hangings. We have when President Hayes took the troops out of the South in 1877 during Reconstruction and how they just came after us. We have the documented history. We even have when they placed us in projects up north with limited resources. Right? We have the heroin Holocaust. We have the crack Holocaust. We have a whole documented history of what happened to our lineage. Lineage based off of family history is already there. But we got to get it out of this POC and people of color thing.
Not racial identity. Edward Blum's lawsuit, whether he intends it or not, is pushing us towards a conversation we should have been having all along. If race-based eligibility is unconstitutional, then lineage-based eligibility becomes the only legal sound path forward for programs designed to address the specific harm of American chattel slavery. And that path is actually narrower and stronger for foundational Black Americans, because not everyone who is Black in America is a descendant.
And what happens is, because they're knocking off these race-based initiatives under Black and everything, these immigrants can't come here and use that no more. They can't come here under flat Blackness no more. That's been eradicated. That's why the Democrats are so upset, because it's going against their agenda. And that's why that Indian lady, remember that Indian lady came and said, hold on for a second. Y'all remember when that Indian lady came and said that when they get back in power, they need reparations for the immigrants, so they want to put all these things back in place, because they was coming in winning under flat Blackness and POC and all that. The Supreme Court struck that down. So now that opens up the door for us to walk in the door. They trying to dupe you, and they trying to make you seem like you're stupid and say, well, no, that don't apply. No, the same thing they're doing to these immigrants, they're going to do to you. You guys are stupid. I'm going to show you that and what Roland Martin is doing, but it ain't going to work, though. But let's get back over to what she's saying. Let's get back over.
Of enslaved people. But every descendant of enslaved people has a documented, traceable, historical, verifiable claim. Now, let's zoom out to a bigger picture. Reparations. The number one argument against reparations has always been, how do you determine who qualifies? Critics say you can't pay reparations based on race because race is too broad, too subjective, and legally unenforceable, especially after the 2023 ruling. But lineage is documentable. Lineage is verifiable. Lineage is the exact framework that every other reparative payment in American history has used. If the CBC scholarship is forced to restructure around lineage rather than race, that sets a legal precedent. It establishes that programs targeting descendants of enslaved Americans are unconstitutionally defensible in a way that race-based programs are not. That is not a loss. That is a roadmap. And here's what's even more important. A lineage-based framework excludes people who have no historical claim to American reparations. It protects the specificity of the FBA claim. It says, this harm happened to these people, and these people deserve the remedy. Edward Blum thinks he's closing a door. But if foundational Black Americans are paying attention, he just showed us the window. Here's my challenge to every FBA, every ADOS, every descendant of American chattel slavery watching this. Stop reacting to Edward Blum like he's the enemy and start studying him like he's a teacher. This man has used the legal system more effectively to advance his agenda than Black America has used it to advance ours. And we have a far more legitimate grievance. This is what he does. Edward Blum sues, he wins, and he reshapes policies. But this is what we do as Black America. We protest, we vote, and then we wait. That has to change. The CBC scholarship lawsuit is a moment. It's a moment to pivot from race-based arguments that are legally vulnerable to lineage-based arguments that are historically airtight. The question is, are we paying attention? Or are we going to spend the next 6 months being outraged on social media while Blum files 3 more lawsuits and wins all of them?
So, and she's right. She's spot on and right on point. Remember when I told you guys, take the emotion out. We ain't got time for emotion. We got to be reading. We got to be looking at who's the players on the chessboard and look at the way that they're moving, and then we got to move accordingly. No time for how being emotional. Like, you know, you got the trolls in here, and that's why I'm saying today while we teaching, man, trolls got to go because we can't be distracted. We got to pay attention. So because when I get to Roland Martin, when I'm done this part, I'm gonna read some of the things. I'm gonna read to you why Roland Martin and the Democrats are upset, right? And we get a lot of people that come in because a lot of our people are silly. I'm just gotta be honest. A lot of our people are dumbfounded and silly because what we do is, because a lot of our people, we don't have a plan of action to remedy our problem, to fix our problem. What we do is we troll each other. We beat up on each other because we don't know how to fix the problem. So the reason why you have trolls and detractors are part of a systemic problem. When they're really depressed, they're really upset, they're really sad because they don't know how to fix the problem. So that's why we got the funniest comedians on the planet, because we find humor and disrespect and funny and everything because we don't know how to fix our problems. That's where trolls come from. So I'm just saying we gotta stay on it because it's important. It's imperative that we stay on it because when I get in this stream, when I get over here to Roland, man, y'all gonna be upset, man. Y'all gonna be upset when you hear Roland talking.
The legal system is a tool. Edward Blum knows that. It's time foundational Black Americans pick up that same tool and use it for ourselves. Now, let's get into Roland Martin. Roland Martin went off last week, and honestly, some of what he said was actually correct. But here's the problem with being half right. The half that's wrong can do just as much damage as being completely wrong. And when you have a platform as large as Roland's, that matters. But I want to point this out before I get into the clip. Roland Martin constantly goes off using the words FBA, ADOS, and he does it for views. When he started his profanity-driven rhetoric, his views went up. He knows this. Thus is why he constantly have FBA and ADOS always coming out of his mouth. But I want to break down this video anyway. So let's break it down.
And you damn right. I want them to lose the Senate race in Michigan. We're going to play.
So let's pause that, right? And before we get to the Roland Martin part, what I want to do is I want to come here first. I want to lay it out, right? Because this Roland Martin part is going to be important, right? I want to lay out why they're so upset. And we're going to show everybody pay close attention now, right? The Trump administration, 2025 and present, has moved to eliminate or cut several programs favored by Democrats, focusing on reducing federal spending, dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and reversing climate change policies. Key targets include the Department of Education, federal support for renewable energy, right? So key programs and sector targeted for cuts or elimination. Proposing to dismantle the Department of Education. Energy and environment, over $8 billion in funding cuts for climate-related projects, and according to Semaphore, CNBC, $12 billion for clean energy. Social and community programs, proposed elimination of low-income home energy assistance program, LAHEAP, AmeriCorps, and the Minority Business Development Agency. And I'm going to show you why they're doing it, right? DEI and civil rights, executive orders ending DEI and programs across the federal government. Freezing over $2 billion for transit and infrastructure projects, particularly in Democratic-led states like New York. International aid, freezing funds for foreign aid, democracy promotion, and human rights notes PR. Attempted cuts to programs for domestic and actual violence and attempts to slash CISA cyber security funding, right? So let's go over here, right? The Trump administration has initiated significant cuts to numerous programs funded by the USAID, America Corps, and other agencies targeting nonprofits and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, linked to initiatives like climate change, right? So when we go, so now what happens is, right, I'm going to show you what they did. Let's go over here, right? Let's move over. NGOs, non-governmental organizations, often benefit from the Democratic Party through substantial specialized grant funding, legislative policies alignment, and inclusion in policy formulation. These organizations act as partners, receiving taxpayer-funded grants to implement programs such as legal services and social assistance that align with the Biden administration's policy goals. How NGOs benefit from the Democratic Party. Taxpayer funds grants. The Democratic administrations often use federal agencies to funnel grants and contracts to align NGOs with some nonprofits receiving significant funding for activities related to climate, health, and social services. Remember when I told y'all Black dysfunction is profitable? Social services, health, right? They set up these hospitals in your community that's funded by nonprofits. They got these social services programs, right, that don't never do nothing to help to fix the Black community. They got all this stuff set up, right? And it's benefited nothing in Philadelphia, Black Baltimore, none of these things. But there's hundreds of millions of dollars. When y'all saw me out there, hold on, let's pull it up so we can give illustration to what I'm talking about, because you guys need to see this in real time. And we need to get up on our business to understand how to counteract this stuff, right? Hold on. When y'all see me out here holding court, hold on. Let it spin for a minute. I think it's this video messing everything up. They do not want this video out there. Damn, they messing with this, y'all. When y'all see me out here holding court and you see all these people holding up the signs, you see all these people holding up signs everywhere. These are all these nonprofits, organizations that these NGOs and all this stuff is delivering money to. This is everything. And I was out there calling this stuff out. I was out there blowing the whistle. on all of this, right? So we was calling this out back then. So Donald Trump came in, and he started cutting all that stuff, right? But this is where we come in now as foundational Black Americans with our lineage, and we go get our own. We got to stop letting them speak for us. Stop letting them fight for us, right? So it says help policy implementation. NGOs help implement government programs, handling legal resources for, government programs handling legal resources for migrants, allowing them to expand their operations and influence, right? So these NGOs, these groups, this is where they was getting the funding from to put them in them buildings, giving them welfare cards and everything that you was complaining about. This is where they come. And hold on. Turn this ringer down. Dark money flow. Some Democratic aligned nonprofits receive tens of millions in funding, which they use to support political causes, and super PACs financing campaigns like the Future Forward PAC. Ideological alignment. NGOs that focus on progressive social issues, right? What's the progressive social issues? The Skittles community. All that stuff that's going on with that, and saying that they want to create the all-inclusive society and be progressive. That money is being funded through these NGOs, right? He coming and he cuts that. Now the Democrats are screaming racism and holy hell because he's cutting their money off, right? Such as, transgender rights and climate activisms often find their work funded through government programs like USAID grants. The circle of life mechanisms. Critics in some reports describe the democratic circle of life where the party and NGOs interact. Government to NGO funding. Democrats and power award grants and contracts to nonprofit entities, right? These nonprofits wasn't going to people like me on the grassroots that's out here, right? That's out here doing this. They wasn't giving us the money. We got the 501c3s and the nonprofits. They was pushing us to the side. They was giving it to them W's, right? Not the grassroots people that's in there actually doing the work, right? So we got to understand how this thing works. Advocacy and mobilization. These NGOs use these funds for advocacy, voter engagement, and legal battles that align with the Democratic agenda, right? So now, if you don't agree with them, you don't get no money. You don't get no funding. Because what we doing on this block right here, this is our block. Hold on a second. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I can't get to you right now, bro. I can't get to you right now. I'll call you back in a few. Yeah. Well, he made me lose my if you ain't on board with what they doing, so whenever you see them come out and attack anybody that go against the Democrat, you're going against their funding and their money, because the money is circled around them, you being on board with what they're doing, their programs, right? So if you want to do something for FBA, this is why they say, well, you got to tote the line and get the money. Because on the block, right, you got the Republicans and you got the Democrats. And either you getting work from them or you getting work from them. Other than that, you can't hustle on the block. That's how they move it, right? In the personal exchange, individuals often move between government roles and NGO leadership, a revolving door. Political reinvestment. Leaders of these NGOs or their beneficiaries may in turn donate to Democratic political campaigns. And this is how they stay in power, right? Oh, shoot, hold on, y'all. My bad. This is how they stay in power, right? Right? So listen. So when you see this, right, real quick, make sure I'm getting
Everything for my black ass, huh? Come on, bro. You can go home and be white. Let's go. Are you willing to lose everything for me? Huh? Are you willing to be called a traitor?
Fuck yes, sir!
Are you willing to be called a traitor to your own people for me?
Fuck yes, sir!
Huh?
Fuck yes, sir!
Okay. Well, I've heard it before. I need to see it in action.
So this is them, right? Coming down. This is them coming down and acting like they care, right? They care about the community. But they're there for a specific reason. They're there because they know that there's trauma in the black community and to get that funding and act like they want to set up. Now, I want you to understand something. While I'm down there cussing them out, right, on the ground, everything I'm saying now, I'm saying back then to them because I knew what the play was, right? So I'm calling out the play. You got the lady in the back, F yes, sir. F yes, man, listen, they was wilding out there, all kinds of weirdo W's out there, right? But they out there to get that chicken because they knew, see, that was right. Come the next year, 2021, Philadelphia had the highest murder rate that we ever had. That was right during the heart of the drill. There was no programs in sight, not one. 3 years later, the DA came and y'all been seeing, they've been having nothing. Right now, Philadelphia has the most historic drop in homicide rate in the country. In 3 months, we had 20 homicides. 4 years ago, by this time, we had 300 homicides. We got 20. Then guess what they did? They put everybody in jail. They have put, I want you guys to understand something. From 2000 to 2026, 2019, prior shutdown, to 2026, right now in the city of Philadelphia, across these courtrooms, during the drill era, so many black boys have been arrested or murdered. If you deal with Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, from 2019 to 2024, I can't even tell you how many homicides Philadelphia saw. But the part that you guys don't realize is you have the killers and then the ones that was unalive. And now these young guys are in courtrooms all in the city, and they've been sent to prisons all throughout the state. And the state is getting all kinds of money. They got all kinds of programs set up now, right? All kinds of programs set in place for these kids that did all this kind of stuff. And they're getting that money. So they're not incentivized to stop it. What happened was the grassroots have been on the ground fighting tooth and nail, man. Meetings, getting these kids together, explaining to them with the cameras everywhere to get the murder rate down. They ain't get the murder rate down. It's the people, it's us. It's the people on the grassroots on the street that don't get no funding. They ain't giving us no money. The money is for the Democrats that's connected to their system. So when you see a Roland Martin going off, because you're going off script against what they got going on. Political reinvestment, right? Leaders of these NGOs or their beneficiaries may in turn donate to Democratic political campaign. This relationship allows NGOs to grow and scale their operations while helping Democrats achieve policy goals such as managing the border crisis or promoting social policies, often operating outside the traditional legislative process. These connections are often criticized by political opponents using federal taxpayer-funded resources to create a slush fund for progressive causes. Now let's go over to roly-poly. Let's get the roly-poly. Let's get the roly-poly. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for roly-poly?
And all you punk asses out there.
Hold on. What happened? What happened? Oh, man. Here we go. My computer freezing up again. Hold on for a second, y'all. What just happened? Hold on for a second. Hold on. God, man. I don't know what's going on today, man. Let me knock that down. All right. Let's do this again. Let's do this one more time. What the freak is going on? Shoot, hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the share like this. If I can get this to come up. All right, here we go. Because I don't know what the heck. Where my line at?
As folk who proclaim to be FBA, all man, he or shield, buck dancing for the Democrats, all y'all can go first. Because let me be real clear.
He told us to go F ourselves.
I know what these people are trying to do. And you damn right. I want them to lose the Senate race in Michigan. We're going to play my interview with one of the candidates. I want them to lose in Alaska. I want them to lose in Maine. I want them to lose in Georgia. I want them to lose in North Carolina. I want them to
Now, hold on for a second, right? I want y'all to remember one thing. Before I started this, remember, put a one in the chat if y'all got everything I read about the NGOs and the Democrats. And mind you, they're upset because put a one in the chat if y'all got an outstanding understanding for what we read today, what we went over today. I want to know if you got an outstanding understanding for what we went over today, and you guys can understand how this thing is operating. So Trump cut the funding, and he's bringing the funding back over to the Republicans. The Democrats are upset because they want that funding. So everything that you about to hear roly-poly say is he's upset because they're cutting the funding, and they're saying, well, they're rolling back these federal grants and this thing that was on the books. And we're saying, well, we don't like the fact that they're doing it, but we want it. We don't want it race-based, Rolly. We want it lineage-based because it's not for everybody. Rolly want it for everybody because the funding is based off of their agenda on how they move and work on their block. Right? Let's keep going.
lose in Texas. I want them to lose in Florida. I don't care because what these people are doing, they want you to destroy any and everything in Black America. Again, all y'all FBA, B1, ADOS folks, it don't matter. There is not a single Black attorney who is representing a family who has been the victim of police violence who has any faith that this Department of Justice will intercede and prosecute them on civil rights violations. So all y'all punk asses out there who claim y'all so pro-Black, let me say it again. This DOJ don't give a damn. Donald Trump has said 100% immunity for any cop. So, and you're right, the two cops in the Breonna Taylor case, they dropped the charges. I can name case after case. So if y'all can call me whatever names you want to, and y'all can sit here and do all you little punk ass podcasts and talk behind your microphone about why y'all simple Simons are saying that Black America is being under assault.
Now he's saying that Black America is being under assault. Black America's been under assault. I'm gonna show you how Black America's been under assault after this, right? I have to play it on this because for some reason everything is acting up. But he's been hearing us. He's been seeing the videos we've been going in on him, and it's been affecting him. That's why he's talking about it. See, he's talking about this because he knows that the young grassroots is listening, and he's upset. And the Democrats, those NGOs are saying, "Yo, bro, we ain't got no funding for you, man. You ain't effective, man. You ain't doing your job, Roland." See, Roland. See, the thing is, Roland is trying to paint the picture as if we don't know what the Republicans are doing. We know what the Republicans are doing. What we're saying is we needed race-based initiative for us. We know that Edward Blum is the enemy. Edward Blum is not our ally. We already understand that. We broke that down. But we're teaching our people how to move. How to move. Which way to go, how they should be going. When he's doing this, he's trying to shame you into getting back onto the Democratic plantation. He's never going to share his screen and show you the policy play that the Republicans are doing as opposed to the Democrats. He's not going to teach you how to get these programs. He's not. He's going to shame you into getting your behind back over there with them because this is the right play and we got you. Don't ask no questions. Just get over here, man. That's what they want. The way when Big Mama took you to church and you start questioning Big Mama about the Bible. And Big Mama said, boy, don't you ask me no questions about my Jesus. You just get over there and pray. That's what they're doing. They just got you over there. They just got you over there on the plantation. And they're fear-mongering you into just going along with whatever they're doing. Now, remember when I showed y'all? Remember when I showed you guys, right? I showed you guys, right? Hold on for a second. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's do this. Let's do this real quick. Real quick. Because I can't get this thing real fast. Hold on. I want y'all to see this. Remember when I did this? Remember when I first came in? When I first came in the door, I came in the door with this, right? And I showed y'all the 2030 agenda is crucial, is a crucial legal binding framework aiming at achieving gender equality, empower all women and girls to realize their human rights. It acts as a comprehensive blueprint to end discrimination, violence, and harmful. Now, this is an agenda, right? This is the 2030 agenda. I came in the door showing you this, right? What he don't want to tell you is, under the Biden-Obama administration, right? Several high-profile shootings of unarmed Black individuals occurred during the Obama-Biden administration, 2009 to 2017, including those of Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Tamir Rice. These incidents, among others, sparked national debate on race, policy, and the Stand Your Ground law, fueling the formation of Black Lives Matter. We already knew what Black Lives Matter did. Trayvon Martin in 2012 was killed. February 26, 2012, 17-year-old Trayvon Martin was shot and killed by George Zimmerman. We all know how that case ended, right? Michael Brown, 2014. On August 9, 2014, 18-year-old Mike Brown was unalive in Ferguson. We all know how that ended. Tamir Rice, 2014, November 22nd, 12-year-old Tamir Rice was unalive by Cleveland police. We all know how that ended. Eric Garner, right, in New York, 2014, died after being placed in the chokehold. We all know how that ended. Oh my God, 2015, on April 4th, 2015, Walter Scott was shot in the back multiple times in North Charleston, South Carolina, by police officer Flynn. Remember, he tried to put the gun on his back. Y'all remember that, right? Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, 2016, these shootings of Alton Sterling and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Philando Castile and Falcon Heights, Minnesota, was captured on video just one day apart in July 2016. All of this stuff went down under the Democrats, right? We didn't have no protection under these Democrats at all, right? But I want to get back. I want to get back over here. I just wanted to just
with one of the candidates. I want them to lose in Alaska. I want them to lose in Maine. I want them.
Hold on a second. Hold on. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can work this. All right.
Lose in Georgia. I want them to lose in North Carolina. I want them to lose.
Hold on, I'm playing the wrong one. My bad. Nope. Let me see. Yeah, I gotta do it this way.
Loud ass folk who proclaim to be FBA, all man, he or shield, buck dancing for the Democrats. All y'all can go folks. Because y'all can sit here and do all you little punk ass podcasts and talk behind your microphone about why y'all simple Simons are saying that Black America is being under assault every single day, and it is being led by Donald Trump and his Department of Injustice, Nola.
Absolutely, 100%. And honestly, I have a message for Cash Patel because, honey, after the few more white women go, he is up next. It's going to be the women first, and it's going
to... I want to say, Craig, thanks for the $10 Cash App. If you guys want to donate to Urban Nerves, you can donate through Cash App, pinned to the top, or PayPal or Venmo. Everything is pinned to the top, and also my Cash App is screening across the screen. If y'all want to donate to our nonprofit, man, y'all can donate there. We got over 500 people in the room. Listen, instead of begging the system, we got to fund our own stuff, man. Y'all know what I do, how I get down. I got my own organizations. The NGOs ain't giving us no money because we too radical. We go out and we speak. So we got our own thing going. If you guys want to donate, y'all can donate through there. Let's get back.
Be the little brown guy at the FBI. So just FYI for that. But, all of this, I want to lean in on the 1-6 point even further and kind of drawing in what you just said, Roland. For people out there who align with this administration, especially Black folks, there are very real reasons why people feel that if that is the road that you are traveling on, you are traveling down some very anti-Black roads. And when you do that, that means you are not only moving against yourself, you're moving against us.
See what she said? Remember I told you guys about their initiatives and their agenda. She's saying that we're moving against them, as if we don't have a brain for ourselves, as if we don't know what we're talking about. They're the foremost authority for the Black people in the Black community, and they're the way. You can't have ideas separate from them. You better not. If you do, you're in trouble. They're telling you this.
Right. And any time where you have a situation where the so-called law and order GOPers, right, can flip the narrative about January 6th. And I think this is something that's still on my mind because I recently sat down with Harry Dunn. And when you have a Capitol Police officer explain to you in great detail what happened in that day, how that day unfolded, how people were hurt and injured, and you can have Pam Bondi come to the American people, completely switch up that narrative, not only pardon them, but also disrespect the Capitol Hill Police.
Now, listen, right? We already know that the Republicans are racist and the Pam Bondis in them. They've always been that way. But you notice something that you don't hear? All that stuff that happened under Biden and all that stuff that happened under Obama, they don't talk about none of that stuff. They don't care. Even some of the parents they had children unalive. They still strongly support this stuff. Under the Obama administration, Biden, listen, those are my hardcore followers that's been watching me for years. Y'all saw the videos that I put up of Joe Biden and Strom Thurmond writing up all of those crack laws. He's the one responsible for the 100 to 1 crack law. That's Joe Biden. 8600 to 1 crack law. That's your man's. Forget the 94 crime bill. He was writing this up with Strom Thurmond. He did his eulogy. They don't never bring that up. They overlook all of that. Remember I told you, man, the Democrats are the ones that came and slapped you in the face and knocked your books out your hand. I mean, the Republicans is the one that came and slapped you in the face and knocked your books out your hand. His brother, the Democrat, he the one that came and pushed them and picked up your books and gave them to you and act like he was your friend. But he was way more vicious than the one that slapped you, because he led you to believe that he had your back the whole time he was snaking you. The whole time he was using you to advance them. He was a parasite. And you thought that he was really with you, and you rode with him and your community for years, giving them all your support, while at the same time he was bringing people in to undermine you and replace you. All at the same time, setting up programs where all the money go to their groups and nothing ever matriculates back into your community to ever make enough to make a difference. He was 100 times worse than the one that let you know he didn't like you, because he had the knife in your back the whole time, and you really thought he was your friend. All in all, they was brothers working the same system.
Even further, by hiring 1-6 insurrectionists, like the foulness of this administration. So my point is this: if they can say F the police, they supposed to love and all these different things to protect insurrectionists, what makes Black people think that they care anything about what is going on in our community, especially when we're talking about situations involving police officers and us? It's always going to be that. Now, that's when you believe the police officers, right? Is when it comes to Black folks and stopping us and killing us, then you believe the cops all day long. But y'all need to really y'all's fault. That's how low down and dirty and ghoulish this administration is. If anybody out there thinking they have y'all back for anything, even Pam Bondi.
So the administration is low down and dirty and ghoulish, right? Fair enough, they are. But you mean to tell me that you Democrats wasn't? When y'all heard us screaming in Philadelphia, in Chicago, in New York, get these immigrants out. Why are you having funding for these groups? Why y'all ignore us as if we didn't exist? Y'all was no better than them. Y'all was just as devilish as they were. Y'all heard us. We was loud as hell, screaming from the rafters, saying, yo, what are y'all doing? Y'all told us to shut up. We saw what y'all was doing to Black folks out in California.
Even if she does get a sweetheart job in the private sector, honey, it's going to be more y'all getting thrown up underneath that bus. And it's going to be very interesting to see once accountability comes knocking at y'all's door.
See, Greg, you know, it's really interesting to me, Greg, when I listen to these, when some folks have sent me some stuff. You got these loudmouth fools who love running their mouths. About, yeah, you know, he'll alpha, he'll represent all alphas. Of course, I don't, fool. I represent my damn self. But here's what I do know. What I do know is, and again, I just get a kick out of these FBA, these freedmen, these ADOS people who love running their mouths and who's like, who want to trash Democrats. Oh, and let's be real clear. I've been highly critical of Democrats on this show. So I don't know what meth y'all smoking. But here's what I do know. I got some common damn sense. And here's what I know. This is some basic ass political common sense. It's going to be, except in the California governor's race, where it's a jungle primary and the top two winners advance to the general. And if some of them Democrats don't drop out, it could be a Republican who ends up being governor. It's two parties in this country. It's going to be a Democrat. It's going to be a Republican. And here's what I know. If the Republicans control the Senate and control the House, they can pass any law they want to, and Trump can sign it. If the Democrats win more House seats.
Hey, real quick, thanks for the $20 super chat. I can't see it. Where my glasses at? I can't see nothing, y'all. Miss Ruby, yeah, thanks for the super chat. And another Abdul, thanks for the $10 Cash App. If you guys want to donate again, it's better to donate through the Cash App or the PayPal or the Venmo, because YouTube don't take nothing out. So going across is the Cash App right there, and that pinned at the top of the message where y'all leave y'all comments at the top. If you click on those links, if you click on those links at the top, pinned to the comment section, you got my PayPal and you got my Venmo there. You guys can donate there as well. And when you donate to our nonprofit, our nonprofit Urban Nerds, bringing Black intelligence back to the community. Let's get back to it.
The Democrats become in control. I don't give a if y'all don't like Hakeem Jeffries. I really don't care. Because guess what? If the Democrats win 218 seats, then they're going to have a vote amongst themselves as to who the next Speaker of the House should be. So I ain't even having that conversation. I'm talking about.
See, let me ask you a question. Not one time has he ever brought on anybody from Foundational Black American to have a conversation without he hasn't brought them on, because they don't believe that we should have a voice. They are the voice for everything. When that money comes through, they're the voices, right? They don't have to respect anything that we say. We're stupid. We don't know what we're talking about, right? We're just a bunch of ignoramuses, and this is what they do. So he don't even hide it. Right? They're the only ones that got any form of knowledge, and they're the authority speakers for Black people. Them. Nobody else. Nobody else can read. Nobody else can reason. Nobody else can understand anything. Only them. Only them.
About stopping MAGA. So if that means that I want more Democrats to win House seats, you goddamn right I do, because I need evil to be stopped. And that means that more Democrats win Senate seats, that stops them from being in control. Now, I don't believe in political violence, but let me remind y'all of something. There was a German theologian named Dietrich Bonhoeffer who came to the United States and studied at Union Theological, who got an understanding of Black liberation theology at Abyssinian Baptist Church. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer was so aghast at the evil of her that he aligned with others to plot to assassinate Adolf Hitler. That's how much a theologian, a man of God, resolved within his own mind that it was important that this man was so evil, they would assassinate him. I don't believe in assassination. I don't believe in murder.
So now he's talking about that man in Germany that was going against the small hats. I had to blank that out because I didn't want that name in there, because I already know what they're going to do when that name goes in there. But he's equating Trump to that man, the mustache man, right? And from Germany. I'm gonna break that down there.
What I do believe is taking them out at the ballot box. I do believe I want Donald Trump come January to have to sit there and have a Democratic House and the Democratic Senate and completely shut him down. And if any one of if Clarence Thomas or Alito decide to retire, if the Democrats control the Senate, I want the Democrats to say, y'all can kiss my ass. We ain't going to have no hearings until after the 2028 election. The same bull pull with Obama after Scalia died and would not give him that hearing. Democrats return the same energy. So you damn right. All y'all simple Simon ass FBA, ADOS, B1, whatever Negroes, call you Freeman, whatever. I want the Republicans to.
You see how he disrespected the freedmen? You see what he did? Now, remember last week when he came in and he was talking about the history of the Democratic Party, and I debunked that. Remember, I responded to that and debunked them claims because he was showing a lot of lies, right? Now he's on here disrespecting the freedmen. Wow. Like he doing it right here. He's right, like he ain't mixing words. He doing it right here, right now. Because he doesn't care. He doesn't respect the freedmen and what we went through. My whole thing is, even if you're going after FBA and ADOS, why you have to mention the freedmen? The freedmen is a historical context with over 100 and something years of history of our people. Why did you mention the freedmen? Why disrespecting FBA? Why did you even mention the freedmen? Because this lets me know that you have no care for the agenda of our ancestry and our people. That's why it was so easy. I have never heard, in all my time, I have never heard nobody, I have never heard the Black Church, the Nation of Islam, the Hebrew Israelites, the Sunni Muslims. I have never heard anybody Black in an argument just say anything disrespectful and mention the freedmen. I've never heard that. I've watched different groups argue ideology. I have never heard anybody Black and making reference to things disrespect freedmen. Never until just now. And I hope that if Black Alpha, if you watching this, right? What's my other brother, the light-skinned brother? Not Black Alpha, Afro Elite, Tariq. If you watching this, I've been in these spaces for a very long time. I have never heard Hebrew Israelite disrespect and use the term or even mention the freedman when he disrespected somebody that goes against his ideology. I've never heard it until I heard Roland say it. He didn't have to mention the freedmen. Where did the freedmen come from? Why would you even mention the freedmen? Knowing that that's our people. We know what them white folks did to our bank and the money that was there. We know what happened. Why would you mention the freedmen? That's crazy. I've never heard it. And one thing Black folks can do is argue and bicker amongst each other. I've never heard nobody ever do that. But this buffoon. So at Black Alpha, Afro Elite, if you get this part. He's going in on us. He's going in on us.
Negroes, call you freedmen, whatever. I want the Republic.
Why even mention that? Why even invoke that? What the hell did that have to do with anything? That's crazy. Nobody said nothing. This brother right here in the middle is a scholar. He knows everything about the freedmen. You see, he over there laughing with that smirk on his face. Because he know Roland is wrong, but he's not gonna correct Roland. He know Roland wrong for even invoking that.
Republicans to lose because the whatever Negroes, call you freedmen, whatever. I want the Republicans, BA, ADOS, B1, whatever Negroes, call damn right.
Hold on, now listen. Watch the brother in the middle. He's a highly respected scholar. Watch how he's shaking his head when he's naming everybody else, and when he say freedmen, watch his response. Watch. Just don't even watch Roland. Watch the guy in the middle.
Y'all, simple Simon as FBA, ADOS, B1, whatever Negroes, call you freedmen, whatever. I want the Republicans to lose because I want the Republicans, B1, whatever Negroes, call you freedmen, whatever. I want the Republicans to lose because the evil that they have unleashed on this country, and especially Black people, must be fought with everything that we have. And that means, Greg, for them to lose.
He's not going to go with freedmen because freedmen is tied to our lineage. Freedmen is tied to our lineage and our basis for our argument of our historical atrocities. He don't care nothing about that because he ain't from it. And Greg Carr knows that. That's why Greg Carr was a delay. He sat there, he jumped and started laughing. Because Greg Carr know he's going to get pushback for that. Damn, Greg, how you on the panel? You got him mention freedmen. Friedman, first of all, okay, you want to go after FBA. Friedman is directly connected to the lineage of the historical atrocities. You was okay with him saying that? You gave him no pushback?
Absolutely. And to all our friends, the foundational Black Americans, the descendants of slaves, and the Black First, which seems to be Black American First, I think your Lord and Masters, the ones that the trauma has driven you to wrap your arms around their legs and thighs and beg, thinking somehow they will come to some moral decision.
He called our Lord and Masters the W men, the W's on the Republican side, because we don't agree with them. See how we get disrespected? Because we don't agree with them.
And to give you some form of reparations. I think a week ago, yesterday, when John Muhammad called for slavery to be declared the greatest crime against humanity in history, I think your Lord and Master showed you what they think of you by voting no. So we can we'll continue to help you. We're going to fight for you too. We know that you're sick. And
they so stupid. We already knew that they was going to vote no. Why would they vote yeah? Why would they vote yeah for reparations when they sent the Ghana president to come here? They was funding him. That's why that same day, see, this is how disingenuous. They went and did a security deal with the EU to go and put under the guise of Islamic insurgents on their borders. They also did a deal with Algeria. So they have all these darn security and protection deals. So it's all a bunch of crap. He knows this. He's not going to tell y'all the truth. John Muhammad, whatever, he was sent by them for their agenda. Y'all saw I was on panels where Africans was already exposing this. I went and showed you guys that Africans was telling you this.
Trauma has its challenges. I'm glad you mentioned Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He and Martin Luther King being two of the towering figures, both of them anchored in a moral response to evil. Last I checked, Jesus Christ didn't have a credit score or even any worldly possessions. So again, the whole question of the moral imperative in this is very important. You can't game a capitalist system or a white nationalist country like the United States of America. This is a moral question. It's not about party politics in terms of the moral issue, but it is, as you say, about party politics when it comes to a two-party system as we have it, and one of those parties is going to win.
Thank you for the $20. Thank you for the $20 cash app, Ruby Smith. Again, if y'all want to donate, it's pinned to the top and it's going right across the screen. Thank you, Ruby Smith.
Trump is throwing his Barbies out. He is a phallocentric. He's a sexist. He's all the things you can imagine when it comes to the deep-seated anti-female, anti-woman beating heart of white supremacy. Eurocentrism, too, for that matter. So he's discarding his Barbies. He got rid of the ICE Barbie. Today he got rid of the lawyer Barbie. If I were the spy Barbie, I would keep my phone on silent. And, of course, talking to you, Tulsi Gabbard, because it's what they do. Now, look at who he's going to replace them with. He upgraded at Department of Homeland Security. He got in his wrestling friend, Mark Wayne Mullen, who's going to be worse than the ICE Barbie. And in this case, the acting attorney general is his personal lawyer, the loser Todd Blanche. You remember Todd Blanche, don't you? He's the one who replaced the great Dr. Carla Hayden as the Librarian of Congress. He's the one who flew down to Texas to make sure that Ghislaine Maxwell keeps her mouth shut. He's the one who the FBI agents are suing now for the things he's on the record saying about them. Todd Blanche is Trump's hired gun. He's a man's man.
So the reason why, hold on for a second. The reason why I showed you guys, I did all that reading and I showed you guys what the Republicans were saying about the Democrats and how they was breaking the law with those and all that funding and everything and how they was using healthcare. Now, what he's doing now is using his platform to go off on the Republicans and talk about all the wild things the Republicans are doing. So they're trading barbs back and forth. And we're not emotional. We just sit back and we're watching. But what he's trying to say is, well, there's only two parties. And you got to pick the lesser of two evils, right? He know both of these people evil, but he's being wicked. Look at that. Hold on. I'm going to show y'all. Look at that face. Look at that face. Hold on. Look at that face. Look at that face. The sad part is he looking at his own people with that face. All that education he got, understanding who that W man is, out of Black University Howard, and he just has the utmost contempt and disrespect for his own people because we want to go in another direction. That's what these Negroes do. Not one time has he asked to have an intellectual conversation and to sit down with anybody. He just come and he want to tell you what to do, and then he just make that face. Why denigrating other Black people and calling them our daddies and our gods, that we want to wrap our arms around their legs. This is the utter contempt that he has for his own people. Sad, man. Sad, Dr. Carr. Sad, man. And I used to like this brother at one time, man. Sad.
And he's going to be out there and he's going to fight with both fists. Why is this important? And what does it really come down to? We know the United States of America is at war right now with Iran, along with BB, the international killer. So Israel and the United States at war with Iran. But Iran is bombing the Gulf states now, including the Saudis. So why is that important? And what does that have to do with what happened today? The chief thing that this racist punk ass who has no brain cells left, this man they keep giving tests to because they got to make sure that he doesn't go out and go straight bonkers. This man is terrified of one thing and one thing only when it comes to his life, that they're going to release the rest of them 3 million files and they're going to find them pictures. It's going to be the end of his political career.
No, it ain't.
And so he thinks that Todd Blanche is better suited to help him, particularly since the Saudis now being bombed by Iran. All those
y'all know what's funny? They keep talking about these Epstein files. When you had Marilyn Monroe, the president was banging Marilyn Monroe. You got all kinds of stuff that was going on with these presidents over the years. And you talking about the Epstein files? These people do what they want to do. They control the media and control the narrative, man. Like what? But they keep springing this stuff on you to keep you distracted, man. Like it's just insane.
Gulf states being bombed by Iran, and the Saudis put $2 billion in the pocket of Trump's son-in-law and his friend Steve Witkoff, the real estate and / crypto king. But the Saudis now are saying, hey man, we paid you for protection. We paid you to keep this thing. They didn't close the Strait of Hormuz. We can return on you. And if the Saudis and the rest of these people who are financing the Trump crime family turn on him, he's finished. He got one concern and one concern only, those files. He's put Todd Blanche there instead of Pam Bondi, because as much shade as she's thrown and as much trash as she's talked, there's one line.
She was sleeping with the president while he was married, and it was highly publicized. She was sleeping with all of them, right? You had all kinds of scandals going on with all these presidents. Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Woodrow Wilson, all of them had scandals. They all was wicked. All of them was here in America. This is their system. But they got everybody worried about the Epstein files. Like, what about all the other files that you'll never know about, right? That they get away with all the, well, you know what, let's just, I ain't even gonna get into it.
That Blondie has crossed, that Blanche may not cross, but that comes down to the thing that we saw yesterday at the Supreme Court. I was listening to James Foreman Jr. yesterday. He was at Howard Law School talking to some students. One thing he said, we got a side that believes in the rule of law, however complicated and flawed that law is. Then you got another side that doesn't care anything about the law. They're going to do anything they want. And I know you're about to talk to Cliff in a minute about this executive order and this bullshit that's illegal, but they don't care. What Trump is counting on is that Blanche's personal loyalty to him will make him throw all regard for the law to the wind and keep those files closed. And as you said, Reese, in the face even of subpoenas and orders and a law that says you had to have them open. This was about putting Todd Blanche in and getting rid of another of his Barbies. All those things are in play right now.
And see, and I'll just show you this.
So they had the Epstein files, right? So why did they cover up all the stuff with Bill Clinton? Why did they cover up his wife's emails? Why, like, all these people got all kinds of dirt on their hands and wickedry, and they all cover it up for each other. And they got you hanging you on a string, arguing and fighting amongst each other, making you really believe these people playing golf together and doing all. Listen, in order to get in office with these people, you got to already be compromised. Pam Bondi was already compromised. Her husband was a weirdo. All of them is already compromised. You're not getting in office if you're a woman, man. You got to be doing all kinds of freaky things behind the scenes. Y'all think this is a game? This stuff is ran by a bunch of weirdos, man. It's been like this. But I could say a whole lot, but I'm not.
Here, look at this graphic right here, and I need y'all to understand. Number of white-collar crime prosecutions by the Department of Justice. The orange is Republican. The peach is Democrat. This is from Bloomberg. Y'all, Ronald Reagan loved Wall Street. Ronald Reagan, look at this here. Y'all, this is the chart, y'all. This right here is Trump. This is the fewest number of prosecutions going back to 1981. In fact, check this out. I was looking at this Anthony Scaramucci, and it's been a lot of this going on. Now, it ain't like, I mean, I decimated him when he was on ABC, but even he finally woke his ass up to the nonsense that was going on. I saw he had posted this tweet, and he was talking about just how evil these people are. This is what he said. Let me walk you through what happened 1 hour before Trump announced the 5-day moratorium on Iran strikes. $1.5 billion in national S&P E-mini future contracts, 4 to 6 times normal activity. That was 1 hour before the announcement. Simultaneously, $192 million in crude oil futures purchased at the same time. They made between $300 and $400 million off those trades. Trump claimed he spoke to an Iranian official to negotiate the moratorium. The Iranian said that person doesn't exist and the conversation never happened. This is not the first time. It has happened multiple times. He said,
that's because you got gangsters and crooks and suits running the government. They always run governments. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. Let's get from over here real quick. Listen, man. Listen, I just want y'all to understand. I'm going to show one more thing before we get out of here. So, what y'all doing? Yeah. So one more thing before we break out, right? As you can see, Roland Martin was upset, and he's coming at the FBA's. Hold on. Let's see. Street Media TV, Roland Martin. Hold on. Let's see if I can find. Hold on. George Macon, Roland Martin. I hate when I'm live and I type this stuff in and I can never get it to come up. But if I'm not live and I click on it, all this crap come right up, man. Like it come right up right when I'm next. Let me do it this way. Hold on. Let me do it this way. Let me do it. I gotta go in there and get it. I want y'all to see this. Ah, darn it, man. Oh shit. It's giving me a whole bunch of problems, man. And I'm probably still not gonna get it because it's acting real janky. And I don't know why. Wow. All right, hold on. Let me try one more thing. I don't know why I can't get it. I'm gonna try one more time. Because I had a debate with Roland Martin, and a lot of y'all wasn't following me then. George Macon debates Roland Martin. Unfreaking believable. Like, where's the video? Oh, here it goes. I'm about to say. And this ain't even the one on my channel. Oh, Lord, man. I can't win for losing, man. Wow. Why is it not coming up on my channel? No, hold on. Man, you got to be a freaking kidding me. All right, I have to show it. I have to show it this way. I didn't want to show it this way because I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. But this is me outside having a conversation with Roland, and I couldn't get him the way that I wanted to get him because I was with State Senator Vincent Hughes. The governor was there. The mayor was right there. And with my I go to these organizations. I was at this Black Boule event that he came and he was the speaker there. He was the speaker there, and because I'm respected, they gave me some time to. I had like a whole hour conversation with Roly Poly while I was there, but I couldn't get at him. Why is this spinning? Like, you got to be kidding me, man. You know what, man? I'm ready to get off the stream because this is just pissing me off now, and it's spinning for a long time too.
Even though things are getting done, they hear you, but they don't see it being done. So they don't believe it.
Okay, so here's the first thing: the young children you're talking about.
Yes,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Are they in places where?
Look at this, man. What I'm gonna do, because I don't feel like doing. I'm over it. I don't feel like doing
those folks
in 2 hours.
Yes, this is one of the blackest cities in America.
Wow, it's gonna keep spinning. Yeah. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna unshare. What I'm gonna do.
Most of us got to go outside of ourselves to get things we need.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. So let me walk you through something. Yes. First of all, are you aware that the average?
So I'm gonna stop sharing, but I want y'all to know that I'm outside. I've been counting these people, right? I'm around people that know people that's with people because, like I said, we do grassroots. They can get me in front of these people. So I had a whole conversation with them. I couldn't get at them the way I wanted to because I got to respect the senator, right? Vincent, I got to respect the mayor, right? You got the police chief, you got all these, because it was a Black Boule event. The AME church, all of them was there, and my brother was getting an award. We was invited, so we were there, and I hollered at Vincent. Yeah, I hollered at Vincent, and I hollered at some people I know, and they said, "Yo, go over there, man. I'm gonna give you 15 minutes." I ended up getting like 45 minutes with him. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna repost the video, and he was over talking me and everything, but I had to be extremely respectful because I had to respect the company that I was with. And remember, all of those people are hardcore Democrats, right? And if I want to get things done within my community, because it's hard to get donations from the people, I gotta go through those hoops in order to bring resources back to the people. Where I come online, a lot of times people get mad. They say, "Jordan, why you do that other kind of content?" Because I make a lot of money every month and to fund it back into my my nonprofit. We might make $6,000-7,000 a month on here, and I got to put a lot of that money back into my nonprofit to do the things for the kids in the communities. That's what we do. Other than that, I got to jump through hoops with these people that I really don't want to be around. Right? You got to go there, kiss babies, shake hands. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to be me. When I saw Roland, I said, "Oh, that's my chance. I'm going right at it." Right? And I asked him questions, and the one thing he did though, right? One thing he did, we had the conversation for like 45 minutes. We went back and forth, but I still get at him. But my whole thing is, he see my videos because he know who I am. I showed him my channel, everything. So he probably in there like, I was talking to that SOB, and he in here now talking about me. He making videos about me, and I sat and talked to that dude for like, we inside of a church that day. We was inside of hold on. I was leaving still. We was inside of a church. Y'all see I'm representing. I got the urban nerds on. I'm showing out, and I'm getting at him, right? And when I told him I'm foundational Black American, man, listen, when I told him I was an FBA, he rolled his eyes. He was like, and I told him, I said, "I don't do POC, my brother." He was like, he was rolling his eyes. And Vincent was over there, like, Vincent, State Senator was over there like, oh my God, man, I don't know why I let this knucklehead go over there and talk. but with me, I understand where I'm at. I'm respectful enough to I'm not going to block my blessing. I'm not going to get up there where I do something stupid and people don't want to let me in the room no more. No, I go in there and I'm gonna play the game just so I can get in the rooms, get respected enough where they respect me enough to go up to the table, because there was security all in there, to go up to the table and really have that comment. Because see, he was signing books and then people was leaving. They allowed me to stay there for like an hour because I'm respected by the people, because we do grassroots work, right? So when you get the respect of the people, you got to carry yourself a certain way. You can't be in there just acting all belligerent and just acting all crazy. You got to go there. That's why for me, when I come online, I tell people all the time, I'm not really online calling people tethers, and I'm not telling people that they should. All my FBA brothers, do what you do. I'm not here to tell you what not to do. That's not my place. I just tell you what I don't do. I'm not speaking for nobody else. So let that. I just, as a 50-year-old man, I carry myself a certain way in a certain manner. And I teach my sons that as well, my daughters. You carry yourself a certain way so people know you by the way you carry yourself. They know you by your fruits. So not emotion. We teach. We get rid of the emotion, and we carry ourselves a certain way, dignified and with respect. And if you respect me, I respect you. And if you're not showing respect, I just get away from you. I don't have to match that energy. Because remember, I always tell you guys, you teach people how to treat you by the way you treat yourself and the way you treat others. So as foundational Black Americans, I can't control the young people telling them what to do, but as a 50-year-old man, I can control how I behave, how I respond, right? And it's certain rooms that I want to get in to where I can hear, I can listen and bring it back to the people, and I can extract resources to bring it back to the people. So I got my job, everybody else got their job. And that's why at the end of all my videos, I say, I love my people more than they hate themselves. And I pray to the universal creator Most High that these words are enough to inspire you. These words are enough to make you look at yourself in the mirror and make change. These words are enough to make you look at your children and know you have to make change. I hope that when you came here for information, and when you leave here greater than what you was before you came. You leave here edified. It's time that we share this information on all the social media mechanisms that we use to get the message across. We got to have the conversation. We got to educate ourselves on the playbook and how they're moving. You are responsible for how people treat you by the way you treat yourself and the way you treat your brother. And when we on FBA business is understanding the terrain that you're in and learning how to move. They expect you to move on emotion. They expect you to be angry. They expect you to be emotional and out of control. And what we're doing now is we're breaking that up. We're going against the norm. We're staying calm, cool, and we're listening. And the thing is, with everything that we've been through in this country since we've been here, and since we've encountered these W's, it's nothing that they can do today that they haven't done yesterday. It's nothing that they can do today that we haven't endured. So what are you so emotional for? Some of you need therapy because you're traumatized. And you're conditioned, a lot of you were conditioned to be traumatized towards your own people because there was another Black man that hurt you. There was another Black man that touched you. There was another Black woman that did this or did that. But you don't understand that the culprits behind the scenes are the ones creating the conditions and the atmosphere for these things to happen to you. Lack of resources, breaking up the families, causing the division within the family ranks. Years and years and years of keeping you out of the economic loop. These are systems of dysfunction that they're placing you in. When you come from the South, because of the Black codes and Jim Crow, you come into the North and they put you in projects. It's called the project because they was doing a project on you, taking large groups of people and placing them in limited resources or places called the ghetto, where they put these people into these concrete jungles with limited resources. And in those limited resources, you have all kinds of traumatized and atrocities that happen. And through that, they conditioned you to see your own people through the same stereotypical lens or the same lens that you're supposed to see the W man. So we come online and we commit verbal genocide on each other. We tear each other down. We so free today, we believe that we don't even need each other no more. We look at the W man and the W woman as something greater than ourselves. We believe that the only way that we can move is to be a part of a Democratic Party, and the Republicans are the racist people on the planet. We have lost our ability to dream and think for ourselves. We have lost our ability to use our imagination and our dreams to manifest because Freddy Krueger is there to kill you. You're suffering from the Freddy Krueger effect because when you go into that imagination of that dream world, Freddy is there and he's telling you, Negro, please. So what you do, because you have no frame of reference or no way to remedy your problem, you become a troll. You become murderous amongst your people. You become an adversary to your own people because you have no consciousness or way to solve your problems. And it turns into frustration and desperation. And the enemy knows this, right? The Republican Party knows this. The Democratic Party knows this. And they set up programs and they treat you like you are a child, that you have the inability. Because you have the inability to solve your own problems, we're going to solve them for you. We're going to use these programs and get millions of dollars allocated to us while doing nothing for you. And you're going to love it. And you're going to come out every year and vote for me. But don't you go out there having a mind of your own. Don't you go out there creating the grassroots and going against what we got going on. We're getting millions of dollars to give you nothing. And you're going to love it. You're going to stand by it. We're going to give you a Bible and an organ to play at the church, and you're going to preach Jesus is coming every month, every year, every week, and you're going to tell them that somebody's getting a breakthrough today. You're going to jump up and down and shake and gyrate and fall out, and you're going to sit there and you're going to wait on the coming of the Lord while we take care of everything else. Don't mind that your nephews are being slaughtered in the streets. You're being gentrified out the communities. Don't worry about none of that. We're replacing you with immigrants, and we're getting rid of your history. Don't you worry about none of that. Jesus is going to fix it. They feed you a steady diet of that for so long that you subconsciously conditioned to believe it. So now you do nothing, or you learn nothing to remedy your problem. You just go vote for Democrat because they told you to. And the Republicans and the people over there are just racist, as if Republicans are not racist. So now, when you have a young generation that's being birthed up out of the desperation and traumas of our community, they're tired. You're having a young generation that's being sprung up. And they're saying, we don't want to do it like this no more. We don't know everything that we're doing, but we know what we've been doing is wrong. So now we're going to pick up books, we're going to study, we're going to read, we're going to do live streams, we're going to come after these people because you've been playing us, both sides, Republican and Democrats. My grandmama didn't march for this. My grandmama didn't get dog sicked on her for this. They had an agenda that they were doing. Your agenda is diametrically opposed to what my grandmama was doing, diametrically opposed to what A. Philip Randolph was doing, diametrically opposed to what Daisy Bates was doing, diametrically opposed to what Benjamin Hooks was doing, diametrically opposed to so many people that stood in the gap for our people. So when you get a roly-poly and he wants to shame you to getting back on the plantation, right? They just want you to get in the church, play that organ, doom, 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 doom. And you get in there, you get the Holy Ghost, and the preacher get to preaching the same sermon that he's been preaching for the last 10 years, and you waiting on the sky to crack and something to come save you. That's what they've done to Black Americans. While all other groups come here with an agenda to make money. They come here, they learn those programs, they becoming the doctors, the lawyers, they becoming everything while they forcing you out. When you go into these hospitals across America, where do you see Black American doctors? You don't see too many of them. Because and then when you do see them, we think that they're coons and sellouts. When you see anybody of a higher echelon of achievement, they get called sellouts, or they don't want to live around each other. We don't want to live around each other because they got us psychologically. The first aspect of reparations, when you see me engaging these people, the first aspect of reparations is renewing the minds. Romans 12. No man comes into the kingdom, but first by the renewing of his mind, transformation of his mind. We got to first transformation the mind. I got to get the nigga out of you. I got to get the Freddy Cougar out of you. I got to make you believe that you can actually get reparations, not just a slogan that you scream. I'm talking about the subconscious and conscious belief that you can acquire reparations by understanding who you are and not what they told you was. No longer manifesting the behavior that's not yours. You're giving it back to them. Because the first reparations is actually taking back what you really are. And after that, they have no choice but to give it to you. They have to surrender it all back to you. We have to understand what we've been up against as foundational Black Americans in this country. And all groups come here that they're against you. All of them are. Because their lifestyle is predicated on your dysfunction and ignorance and not understanding what NGOs are, how these nonprofits work, how these social services programs work in your community, how all this stuff works that does nothing for your community. Once you start understanding how it works, and now you want your power back. So the Democratic Party has failed the Black community in teaching the Black community how to operate within the structure that they had set up. So now they're relinquishing it and turning it all over to the immigrants. They're leaving you behind. So as Black Americans, this demonstration today was about lineage and about teaching you the playbook of what they're doing on both sides. And understanding when I asked you who knows Edward Blum. Edward Blum is an enemy, diametrically opposed to us. But we can study and learn from Edward Blum because he's using these tactics in the courtrooms and he's winning. So how can we counter Edward Blum? That's the homework. That's the homework. We got to start getting our own registered voters across the country. If Tariq not going to do it, we got to do it across the country. We got to start. They got to know that those FBAs got like 5 million registered voters across America. Young people 18 to 30, they on board and they not playing. That's when they want to start taking it serious. We going into the politics now because we live here. And we're saying enough is enough. But the first thing is you have to know who you are and you have to reprogram the mind. No more trolling. You don't need to troll. I don't hate immigrants. I just want my folder on that Democratic table. I want my folder open first. Don't open up nobody else's folder before you open up mine. My folder gets opened up first, and my issues get dealt with first, and then you deal with everybody else. Because as a foundational Black American, I am the first. If I'm in Nigeria, then the Nigerians' folders get opened first. But these immigrants don't come here and get special preference over the people that's been here. And this is all we've been saying as foundational Black Americans. And the Democrats is fighting us tooth and nail because what happened was we start to wake up and we start to read it. We start reading scripture for ourselves and we start saying, Bishop, that's not what that say. I read this scripture. We're not just going by what you say no more. We're reading the scriptures ourselves. We're reading the information for ourselves now. And we're starting to understand what it means. See, they're used to us not reading the information and telling us what to do. That's why he's so belligerent, blatant, and disrespectful. But there's a new generation of people, and the tide is turning. Tide is turning. And the only thing I can say to the family in closing is, listen, keep pushing the line. Remember, I always tell you guys to think futuristic. What if Dr. King and Medgar Evers and so many greats, the Fannie Lou Hamers, the Mary Bethune-McLeod, so many of them would have said, man, I don't feel like it. I'm going home. I don't feel like it today. I don't want to push the line. Where would we be? What if A. Philip Randolph said, I don't feel like getting up out the bed. I don't want to today. Where would we be, family? We are because they was. We exist because they existed before us, and they pushed the line. They pushed the line. How far are you willing to push the line? What are they going to say about you and your legacy 20 years from now, 30 years from now? Because we thinking futuristic. We're planting the seeds. I'm a seed planter. I am a servant. I am a servant of those that's coming after me. I am planting seeds and I am serving those seeds. So I know when the generations come after me, I will be remembered by my works. I will be remembered by caring. I will be remembered by loving and plowing the road and setting a precedent for those coming after me. I know that what I'm asking for now may not come to me, but it may come to the generations after me because I'm not thinking about myself. Right? I'm a servant. I'm here to serve. On the battlefield, I studied the playbook. And now I'm saying I may perish on this battlefield, but best believe I'm going to be remembered. And after I'm done, there's going to be thousands of little minions coming out now, propagating the same word. We got to push the line forward. My granddaddy pushed the line forward. My grandmommy pushed the line forward. Those before us pushed the line forward. You've been conditioned to just think about yourself. I, me. That's not the way it works. The floodgates will be open when we come together as a group, bond together, create get our own registered voters across America, get our own thought process, create our own speakers for what we need under a lineage, and begin to move forward. They really don't believe. They really don't believe that we're capable of doing it. That's why they don't take us seriously. They know. Remember, in closing, right? They know that everything that we're saying is the truth, but they don't respect the fact that you will be able to pull it off. So they don't have to have no fear of you. Yeah, what they're saying is true, but them Negroes ain't going to get nothing together. Everything that they say they're going to do, they're not going to do. And the Most High is waiting. The blessings is there. Faith without works is dead. All we got to do is do the work. The doors is open already for us. The ball's in our court now. Because we done already stood out and said, Democrats, we ain't rocking with that. The whole world sees it. That's why Roland is responding to us. Because he's catching the heat. He's responding. So now what we going to do now? What we going to do now? All right? So remember, family, think futuristic. You are a servant and a seed planter for those coming after you. It's not about you no more. It's not about you. It's about the ones that's relying on you. The ones right now that can't do for themselves, they are relying on you to plow the road. They're relying on you to make a difference. They're relying on you to create something that they can benefit from to make it easier. They condition us to pass down trauma and lack. We are reversing that now. And we're reversing that because we're letting go of their trauma and we're giving it back to them. And now we're looking at our children and saying, we're leaving a legacy, a positive legacy. We're leaving something that can be nourishment to their bellies, that they can consume and benefit from, they can grow from. So we're thinking futuristic and not in the right now from a traumatized way of thinking. The ball is in your court. Be a servant. Be a seed planter. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.